NASCAR just signed the biggest television deal in the history of the sport. $7.7 billion. 7 years, 6 different places to watch the races. On paper, that looks like a sport that is set for life. But two men who spent their whole careers inside NASCAR looked at that same number and saw something very different. They think the sport is sinking, and they think all that money is just hiding the leak. Their names are Jeremy Mayfield and Darrell Andrews. Neither one of them is a talking head on a television desk. Mayfield raced in the Cup Series. He drove the number 12 Mobil 1 Ford for Roger Penske. He drove the number 19 Dodge for Ray Evernham. Andrews spent close to 2 decades hauling and wrenching for Junior Johnson. These are garage guys. When they talk about NASCAR, they are talking about a place they lived in for years. The deal itself came together under former NASCAR president Steve Phelps and former chief executive Jim France. 7 years, 6 platforms, about $1.1 billion every single year. NASCAR leadership called it a huge win, a landmark moment for the sport. Mayfield and Andrews watched that same announcement and walked away cold. "I just feel like it's on a sinking ship that nobody's saying anything about filling holes up," Mayfield said on the 5 Wide Sports and Jeremy Mayfield show. Andrews did not soften it. He did not walk it back. He said, "Everybody's afraid to." That is the part that stings. Not that the ship is taking on water, that everyone in the sport can see it and nobody wants to say it first. Here is what they are actually worried about. It is not the size of the number. It is what is holding the number up. "The viewership is not coming up any. It's down," Mayfield said. "How's the TV deal going to be able to say, okay, same with sponsors, we can still spend that $7 billion on what?" Andrews kept it short. "I honestly don't see how they do it." To get that $7.7 billion, NASCAR spread 38 Cup Series races across 6 different homes. Fox and FS1 take 14. NBC and USA Network take 14 more. Amazon takes 5. TNT and Max take 5. Added up, and only 9 of those 38 races land on regular over-the-air broadcast television. 9 out of 38. Mayfield said what a lot of fans are already thinking. You watch 5 over here and 4 over here, and Amazon's got 5 over here. It's making it confusing. He is right, and it is more than confusing. It is expensive. If you want to watch a full Cup season now, you need cable or a live television package. Then you need Amazon Prime. Then you need Max. Stack those together, and you can easily pass $100 a month before a single green flag waves. A hardcore fan might pay it. A casual fan will not. A casual fan will just find something else to watch on a Sunday afternoon. The numbers back that up. When races moved behind those paywalls in year 1, viewership fell somewhere between 12 and 15% compared to what those exact same races pulled on broadcast television. Same race, same drivers, same track, fewer eyeballs. 12 to 15% may not sound huge. In television, it is enormous. Do that for a few years in a row, and the audience you built over decades is simply gone. Now here is why that matters far more than it sounds. Sponsors do not pay for races. Sponsors pay for people watching races. That is the whole business. A company puts its name on the hood because millions of people are going to see that hood. Take away the eyeballs and that hood is just a piece of sheet metal. When the audience shrinks, sponsors start asking harder questions. When sponsors start pulling money, the teams built on that money feel it fast. Fewer cars, smaller crews, tighter budgets. Mayfield connected those dots himself. That's going to be the next thing that's going to be dropping. How's the TV deal going to be able to say we can still spend that $7 billion on what? But the two of them did not stop at television. They pulled the conversation back to something much more basic, the racing itself. What is actually happening on the track? And that took them straight to Bristol. "Years ago, I don't care what was happening the weekend of Bristol, it was packed," Andrews said. "There wouldn't be nobody at the Masters, they'd all be at Bristol." If you are new to the sport, that might sound like an old man talking. It is not. Bristol Motor Speedway used to be the hardest ticket in all of American motorsports. 160,000 seats, sold out again and again. Fans drove in from everywhere just to watch drivers bang into each other around a half-mile concrete bowl for 500 laps. It was loud. It was the best night of the year. That track is not the same track anymore. It has been rebuilt with multiple lanes. And NASCAR now sprays chemicals on the surface to create grip that the racing stopped making on its own. Mayfield did not dress it up. They go to Bristol, and it's not racing anymore, he said. Nobody's there. Nobody's there to see it. Empty seats and falling ratings are not two separate problems. They are the same problem showing up in two places. Fewer people in the stands, fewer people on the couch. Both point at the same thing. Demand is slipping. And demand is the only thing that gives NASCAR power at the next negotiating table. Think about how these deals actually get made. A network does not pay $1.1 billion a year out of kindness. It pays because it believes people will show up to watch. That belief is built on ratings, on attendance, on buzz. If those numbers keep sliding for the next several years, NASCAR walks into the next round of talks holding a much weaker hand, and the next deal will not look like this one. That is the loop Mayfield and Andrews are pointing at. Fewer viewers means weaker leverage. Weaker leverage means a smaller deal. A smaller deal means less money for tracks and teams. Less money means a weaker product. And a weaker product pulls even more viewers away. Round and round it goes. Now, the other side of this deserves a fair hearing too. NASCAR did not split those races up by accident. Streaming is where the audience is heading, and every major sport in America is chasing it. Amazon and Max bring in younger viewers who have never paid for cable in their lives. NASCAR locked in $1.1 billion a year through the end of this deal, which means teams and tracks know exactly what is coming for years. That kind of certainty has real value. And plenty of people inside the sport will tell you it is going through the same growing pains every other league is facing right now. But Mayfield and Andrews are not talking about strategy. They are talking about what they see with their own eyes. Empty grandstands at a track that used to be impossible to get into. Ratings that keep sliding. A television deal that pays out no matter what the numbers do, right up until the day it does not. And what bothers them the most is the silence. Drivers have contracts, teams have sponsors, broadcasters have partners. Almost everyone with a real voice in this sport has a reason to keep quiet and smile at the big number. Mayfield does not have that reason anymore. Neither does Andrews, so they said it out loud. That is really their whole point. Nobody is asking NASCAR to hand the money back. They are asking the sport to be honest about what the money is covering up. You can celebrate a record deal and still admit the seats are empty. You can bank $1.1 billion a year and still admit the racing at Bristol is not what it was. Doing both at the same time is not being negative about the sport. According to these two, it is the only way the sport gets fixed at all. So what do you think? Are Mayfield and Andrews sounding the alarm on something real, or are two guys from a different era just missing the sport they grew up in? Drop it in the comments. I want to know whose side you land on.